I have 2 VHS tapes, 17 DVDs, 21 Blu-rays, and 11 4Ks for this update. These I have gotten within the past month. So, yeah. This one's a much later reprint. Labels from 2001. However, this is printed on the 49th week of 2004. So this one technically is a double reprint. The other VHS is a super rare tape. My second Sony Pictures Home Entertainment VHS, the other one I have being Hitch. Lionsgate Films movie Call Me with Destination Films, Bob Yari Productions, and El Cameo Pictures. Released on video by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. This 18th week of 2005. This tape was brand new factory sealed when I got it, but I opened it off camera. And now onto the DVDs. A movie that I have never heard of, but this does star Christian Bale, so I figure I'd go ahead and pick this up. Wreck and Hill Entertainment movie, Call Me with Row One Productions and New Pictures Film, released on DVD by Entertainment One here in Canada. This one's a Chinese movie. Former rental from Videoton. A movie that was originally filmed in 2006, but due to Wesley Snipes' multiple legal issues, this movie was in production hell from what it sounds like. Another movie that was distributed by Wreck and Hill Entertainment, released on DVD by Entertainment One here in Canada as well. Both this and The Flowers of War are currently out of print on DVD since Wreck and Hill Entertainment is currently defunct. Both do have Blu-ray releases, but obviously they're both out of print. Call Me with Fireworks Pictures. I don't think this movie has a Blu-ray release, but I could be wrong. Morgan Creek Productions movie, released by Warner Brothers. This one's rated R for language and a murder scene. Kind of interesting. Russian, German, and Mongolian movie. Released in the US by Picture House and released on DVD by Alliance here in Canada. Media 8 Entertainment movie Call Me with DEJ Productions and was released on DVD by Columbia TriStar Home Entertainment. This one, Saison et plus pour violence et langage vulgaire and 18A. Movie I've been wanting to get for a very long time now, and now I finally have it. Fox Searchlight Pictures movie. This one's a British movie. I did the opening to this on Super Écran. Producers Sales Organization movie, released on DVD by Warner Home Video. On Super Écran, this was Saison et plus pour sexualité et langage vulgaire. This one's R in Canada. Finally have this movie after looking for it for a super long time now. You must be 18 or older to view this DVD. This one I found at a church yard sale, which I have no idea what a film like this was doing over there. Since, well, I think you know at this point. United Artists movie, Call Me a Chargers. This one's saison et plus pour erotisme et langage vulgaire and rated R in Canada. And this movie did air on Cinepop and was rated 18 ans et plus pour sexualité et langage vulgaire. This one I used to have, but I got rid of it a very long time ago. My older copy was the original 90s DVD. This one's the 2005 reprint, though the disc inside is still the original DVD from 2000. Sony Pictures Classics movie, Call Me with Mandalay Pictures, Endurance Media, Torrandon Films, Mad River Pictures, Scott Free, and Riverstone Pictures. Former rental from Videoton. This one's a placeholder until I get the Blu-ray or the 4K. Of course, this is Jordan Peele's directorial debut. This is my second Warner Archive DVD, the other one I have being Operation CIA. 1954 movie from RKO Radio Pictures. This one is pressed on a DVD-R disc, like most Warner Archive releases. I do know some releases from the Warner Archive are pressed on actual discs and not DVD-Rs, but those are quite rare. This next one's quite rare. This one's the full-length screener DVD of Wind Talkers. Pretty cool stuff. This one I will most likely do an opening to. Here, give me a second while I fix these up a little bit. There we go. Alright. Movie I do want to check out. Now, the case for this one, or the cover, looks like it was photocopied, but the disc inside is the real deal. Canadian movie. This one I've seen on Netflix, and this is a pretty funny Canadian movie. I have also seen the sequel, and I thought that one was not as good, but it is what it is. And here's the last DVD. From the director of Kids, that being Larry Clark, who's very infamous. And this movie apparently is long out of print on DVD, so I'm glad to have this. And for only $5, that's a steal. Originally released by Trimark Pictures, but was released on DVD by Tevia here in Canada. This one's R in Canada. And now onto the 21 Blu-rays. This one's the rental Blu-ray of It from 2017. New Line Cinema movie distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Another former rental from Videotron. This one's an upgrade from my DVD copy that I've had for a very long time. And for this one, this actually includes the original receipt from Best Buy. This was originally purchased on March 28th, 2008. Here, give me a second. I also got the sequel, Independence Day Resurgence, which I heard this one's not as good as the first one, but I don't care. This one's also a rental exclusive Blu-ray, just like It. Another former rental from Videotron. Another movie that I have never heard of. This one's my second MPI home video Blu-ray. The other one I have being Paperman. This one I believe is a British movie, but I could be wrong. Oh shit. And this movie is based on the novel by Andy Weir, who would later write Project Hail Mary, which that was recently adapted into a movie earlier this year with Ryan Gosling. That movie I didn't see in theaters, so I might check it out if it does come out on physical, which I think it is coming out on Blu-ray and 4K. I might just pick it up on 4K. Spoiler, I did get the sequel of this, but that's on 4K. I will show much later on. This one I used to have on DVD back when I was way younger, but I got rid of it. Now I have this back in the collection, but on Blu-ray. Upgrade from my DVD, which I now plan to get rid of. Originally purchased at Future Shop, but I got this from a Renaissance donation center. Lionsgate movie released on Blu-ray by Entertainment One here in Canada. This next one's a steelbook. This movie was originally distributed by Paramount Pictures, but was released here in Canada by Alliance. I find kind of bizarre. I believe this is the only Paramount movie to be distributed in Canada by Alliance. Famously, the first movie to ever be released on the DVD format here in North America. Call me with Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment. I do have the sequel, Twisters, on DVD, which I plan to upgrade to 4K. This one's 16 ans et plus pour violence et l'horreur, and 18A. This is the original animated version of Moana from 2016, which, as we all know, there was recently a live-action remake of this movie that came out, which I do not plan on checking out anytime soon. This one I saw in theaters back when it came out. This, I believe, is the last good Disney movie before they became total hacks. This one's a former rental from what looks like not Letterboxd, Redbox. Originally released in the US by Open Road Films, but was released here in Canada by VHS Films. A movie that I really want to check out right here. This one's directed by Gore Verbinski. And I think this is his first film since A Cure for Wellness, which unfortunately underperformed at the box office. Bright Art Cliff Entertainment movie, Call Me With Robert's Black, Constantine Film, Free Arts Entertainment, and Blind Wink. Released on Blu-ray by Universal under the Studio Distribution Services label. Or company, I don't know. Weirdly enough, the 14A ratings in French, even though this is clearly an American Blu-ray. I don't think this came out on 4K, but I'm fine with just the Blu-ray of this. This one's a Blu-ray digibook. The second one I have The second one I have in my collection, the other one I have being Dirty Harry. Coincidentally, this is also from Warner Brothers. Out of all of Steven Spielberg's movies, this one's one of the more trickier ones to acquire, since this is one of his more forgotten films. Also comes with the Warner at War documentary, only on DVD though. And this was the film debut of Christian Bale, which is pretty cool. These next couple are all boutique label stuffs, so yeah. This one's my 4th Severin Blu-ray. The other 3 I have being Birdemic Shock and Terror, Baskin, and what was the other one? Hold on. It was Deep Blood. This one's a British movie from ITC. It was released on Blu-ray by Severin Films. This next one's an upgrade. This will now replace my Canadian DVD of this movie now, and this set's way better to have. Spy number 723. This one's my, I think, 4th Criterion Blu-ray that I have. 2001's Mexican movie from 20th Century Fox, released in the US by IFC Films and released on Blu-ray by Criterion. This movie I still have not seen yet, but I figure I might watch it on this Blu-ray copy. This was $25, and this Blu-ray is currently out of print. It recently went out of print. Oh wait, there's also the Blu-ray I gotta take out. There we go. Not gonna bother going through the booklet since it will take too much time. This is my very first Unearthed Films Blu-ray. This company's releases are incredibly hard to find, so I'm very lucky to have this. This was $42, so yeah, I did overpay this one quite a bit, but because this company's releases are so rare, I figure I just pick it up either way. The slipcover on this one's really hard to take out, so I have to put the camera down for this one. 1997 New Zealand movie distributed in the US by Trimark Pictures and released on Blu-ray by Unearthed Films under the Unearthed Classics label. This one's saison et plus pour violence et l'horreur and rated R in Canada. Actually, this currently does not have a Canadian rating, but this is most likely R in Canada. And here's the reversible artwork. I don't know if I do plan on checking out or picking up any more Unearthed titles since they're incredibly hard to find. And also, the majority of this company's releases are really disturbing movies, so this distributor notably released a Serbian film on Blu-ray, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna get that in the collection anytime soon. These next 3 Blu-rays, actually these last 3 Blu-rays I acquired from the Vinegar Syndrome pop-up sale at the Fantasia Film Festival earlier this afternoon. This one's a French and German movie from Wild Bunch, released in the US by IFC Films and was released on Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome under the IFC Films partner label. Here's disc 1 with the director's cut of the film, and disc 2, which has the US theatrical cut, which was shortened by 12 minutes. Here's the reversible artwork, which is pretty cool, but I currently have it on on this side, which is the film's original theatrical poster, I believe. This one's the 2025 remake of Street Trash, which this was originally a movie from the late 1980s. Pretty obscure body horror film, but I guess it was famous enough to get a remake of some sorts. Cineverse, Screambox, and Bloody Disgusting movie, released on Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome under the Vinegar Syndrome Pictures label. This is actually one of 2 Vinegar Syndrome Pictures titles I have in the collection. Here's the reversible artwork. And VSP on the spine there. Here's the last Blu-ray. A movie that I really want to check out since I heard nothing but great things about it. And this was a film that premiered at Fantasia last year, which was acquired by Vinegar Syndrome. This is another movie that was distributed by Vinegar Syndrome Pictures. Not going to go through this booklet again to save time. The reversible artwork is the same as the slip, so I don't really have to show it, but hey, it is what it is. And now onto the 4Ks. A movie that I've borrowed on Blu-ray and done the opening to in the past, but now I have this movie in the collection, but now I have this in the collection and on 4K, which is way better to have. Saw this one in theaters back when it came out. Awesome movie. I did the opening to this on Crave and Super Con as well. And speaking of Jurassic World's sequel, here it is on 4K. This is the last Jurassic Park film that was produced by Legendary Pictures, since Universal's producing deal with Legendary would expire later in 2018, same year as this movie's release. I'm not sure if I'm going to upgrade the first Jurassic World to 4K, but we'll see. I don't think I will. I think I'm just fine with the Blu-ray as is. I recently did the opening to Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Con last night. New Line Cinema movie Call Me with Atomic Monster and Broken Road and was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. These next 2 are movies that I saw in theaters this year. This one I saw in theaters on May 15th, which was the film's official release. Fucking awesome-ass movie right here. This is definitely one of my favorite films of the entire year. And between this and Backrooms, which were coincidentally both directed by YouTubers, this movie is definitely my favorite. Way better than Backrooms, that's for sure. Focus features movie Call Me a Blumhouse, Capstone Pictures, and T-Shot Productions, also with Under the Shell. This one's 16 ans et plus, bon violence et l'horreur, and 14A. Definitely gonna give this a rewatch once I have the chance. This was a fucking fantastic movie. Love this movie. Saw this movie in theaters on April 23rd, a day before it was released on the 24th, which was my 21st birthday. Fantastic movie, even though I do know the critics absolutely bashed it. Which, yeah, at this point, movie critics just fucking suck nowadays. Lionsgate movie, call me a Universal Pictures, JK Films, and Optum Productions. Interestingly, both discs have artwork, which is pretty cool. This one's my third Lionsgate 4K. The other ones I have being Civil War and the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. My first 4K from Shout Factory. 1986 movie from DeLauris Communications, or DEG. Now currently owned by Entertainment One, or Hasbro, since Entertainment One was rebranded to Hasbro Entertainment as of 2024. And this movie is returning to theaters in September this year by Fathom Entertainment for its 40th anniversary. These next two are upgrades. Upgrade from my DVD, which I am now planning to get rid of. Upgrade from my regular Blu-ray. And this does have the slipcover, so that's a plus. Apparently this 4K was selling out like crazy when it was originally released. As we all know, this was nominated for 16 Academy Awards, which is more than any other film in Oscars history. This lost to one battle after another. Though I think this won, 3 or 4 Oscars, including for Best Actor. Hands are crapping up. These last 3 Blu-rays I got from Fantasia, once again. These first 2 are from Severin, and I got from the Severin table. Both are in the limited edition slipcovers. Directed by Brandon Cronenberg, the son of well-known Canadian director David Cronenberg, as we all know. Canadian and French movie from Alliance and TF1 International, released in the US by IFC Films under the IFC Midnight label, and released on 4K Blu-ray by Severin Films. Now, weirdly enough, only the theatrical cut of this is on 4K, while the Cannes cut of the movie, which is a slightly extended version, is only on Blu-ray. Not going to go through the booklet once again. This and the next one are my third and fourth Severin Films 4K Blu-rays. This one I'm going to have to censor the artwork because there's nudity on it. Might have briefly showed it, but you know what? I don't fucking care anymore at this point. Not only US, but Mexico. This one's a Bryston Pictures movie, released on 4K by Severin Films. And this last one's also from Vinegar. This one's from Vinegar Syndrome, and I got from the Vinegar Syndrome table at Fantasia. Really cool artwork on these. That's why I picked them up. This one's a notoriously awful movie from what I hear, but that's why I picked it up. I like bad movies. Not only US, but Italy. Epic Productions movie released on 4K by Vinegar Syndrome. This movie is now currently owned by MGM. Or Amazon MGM Studios at this point. Since this came out in 2025.